In today's video, I want to highlight a brand new PlayStation 4 RPG called Unworthy Life, a new 3D sci-fi action RPG, and it is looking pretty awesome. Want to talk a little bit about that game and its recently launched Indiegogo campaign, as well as Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. Its first big update has been detailed, and it includes a crossover with another major Square Enix title in Nier Automata. We'll talk that after we talk Unworthy Life, but as I mentioned at the top, Unworthy Life, a brand new 3D sci-fi action RPG. They just launched an Indiegogo campaign to round out the development of the game. They're nearly completed with developing this game. They noted Unworthy Life as a 3D story-driven action RPG with 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. The game is 80% complete and will release on PC and console in approximately 12 months time, around September 2020. It was also noted that Unworthy Life has many levels and environment, which include 2 open world areas to explore. Players will engage in combat, hacking, and physics puzzles, as well as upgrading their robot with modular parts and learning or developing new abilities through a skill tree system. It will be usually possible to tackle the same situation in several different ways. Our protagonist robot is a canvas that we hope you can use to play and navigate the story of Unworthy Life in your own preferred way. They go over some insight over the development studio as well, so I want to cover all that information. They note, "We, the team behind Unworthy Life, have been working on this game for about 4 years. Our goal as a small team has always been to push the limits of what can be achieved by independent designers on a first game. We also wish to take our skills, mathematics, coding, physics, design, earned from a background in mechanical engineering, and apply it to the development of an exciting and modern PC and console game inspired by the 80s science fiction films we grew up with, as well as more recent sci-fi RPG games we came to love as adults. We could, given enough time, probably finish the game and make Unworthy Life into something we really want to play and that we will personally love. However, this has never been about us. We want to make a game that many people will play and love. By backing this campaign, you help us get some much needed hardware to smoothly finish the development of this game in 4K resolution. Pay for bespoke professional music, allow us to pay talented voice actors, and provide the first little bit of money towards the studio support we need to release the game for console." So interestingly, they do note that the game is 80% complete, but it seems like some of the finer areas of the game still have to be rounded out. As far as what they're offering with backing the game, every backer will receive credit as a backer in the credits of the game. Every backer of 5 or more will receive the digital OST to the game, spanning cinematic orchestral strings to dark sci-fi to techno to space age sounds and futuristic ambient music. In addition to the above, every backer of 15 or more will get a full digital copy of the game and will receive a playable demo shortly after the campaign completes. Every backer of 20 or more will receive a digital art book, full copy of the game, digital OST, and credit as a supporter. A t-shirt will be added for every backer for 60 or more. For 500, you will get all of the above, and your likeness can be added to one type of character in the game. All we need is some high quality images of your face from the front and side, and one lucky backer can become a producer of the game for 2,500. If they wish, they will be invited to our weekly producers catch-up conference call to talk about the game and more. So kind of interesting. It does seem like that this is an international game. Now, I do notice that on the Indiegogo page there are some grammatical errors, but this is a German studio, so cut them some slack for that. They're trying their best to just get the game funded and whatever the case may be. They also cover the story a little bit. Unworthy Life takes place on the 4th planet in the solar system 100,000 years ago. A technologically advanced society is on the brink of collapse due to the severe and prolonged exploitation of their planet's resources. Players take on the role of UI-155E5, a clockwork, a robot who works in a factory called the Mother. A clockwork salary consists of cyberbucks, which functions as their currency and their life force, as cyberbucks act as the charge for a clockwork's batteries and is the only currency with which to purchase replacement parts. When a clockwork can no longer work or becomes obsolete, they run out of cyberbucks and die. The lucky clockworks who have excess cyberbucks spend them on simulations where they can escape their lives and be spirited away to a lush green planet that is, of course, Earth. Besides clockworks and gears, the robots which form the most numerous and productive part of the society, there are also the angels, massive demonic beings who act as enforcers, keeping control of the city. Think of these as your brunts and your heavies. There's also mutants. Little is known about the mutants. Few clockworks have ever seen one. Most don't even know they exist. The pilot, the puppet master of all of the society. And as far as exact features of the game go, over 15 hours of gameplay, 15 levels including 2 open world levels, customizable modular robot protagonist, RPG elements including leveling, unique equipment, exploration, decision making, alternative paths, and more, hacking minigames, physics puzzles, secret locations, fully 3D gaming in 4K resolution. Some of the game does look a little bit rough around the edges, but the general premise of the game I find incredibly captivating, so I wanted to make mention of this title. There is some gameplay already out, and if you want to have a look at it, I'll leave a link to the Indiegogo page in the description box below. I know a lot of you guys are inherently kind of worried about crowdfunded games, given that we have seen some train wrecks, but we've also seen games like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night that have turned out really well. In the case of Unworthy Life, again, I really dig the premise. I really like the elements that the game is trying to tackle. Based on the gameplay that I'm seeing thus far, again, it does look a little shoddy, does look a little bit rough around the edges, but we're still a ways away from the game actually being released, so I am cautiously optimistic into what this game can turn out. And again, if you do drop $17, that's 15 their currency, you will get a digital copy of the game, and then if you drop $66, you'll get the shirt, game, and more, and then you could go up from there. I would recommend that if you are backing the game, go with the $17 route so you can get the game, and also there is a $22 option that I should mention that'll include the OST game and an art book. So there you have it, a brand new RPG. The RPG library on the PlayStation 4 has a lot of competition, and this one is aimed for a September 2020 release, so we'll see if this ends up being a PS4 game, does it transition into a PS5 game, whatever the case may be. Looks like a compelling title, looks like a captivating experience, and at the very least, you can give it some credit for being incredibly unique. Okay, moving on from that, I do want to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy XIV. Shadowbringers is arguably the best game of the year. If you count expansion, Shadowbringers has been a phenomenal experience with so much to do, and it's gotten incredible reviews. I believe if you go on Metacritic right now, it is the highest reviewed game of 2019, which is absolutely insane to think about when you think about where Final Fantasy XIV has come from to now Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, its latest expansion being the top-rated game of the year thus far. How one game can go from one state to another in just the span of a couple of years. I mean, what, it has been like 5-6 years, maybe 7 years. It's been a while since Final Fantasy XIV got its relaunch, but man, oh man, has it made some incredible progress, and it is going to continue to be updated. Square Enix is incredibly committed to Final Fantasy XIV as an experience, and now it's really paying dividends as they are preparing their first big Shadowbringers update entitled Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty. This free update will include the next chapter in the main Final Fantasy XIV scenario, a brand new dungeon, a new game plus mode, and more, but the big headline news is that Final Fantasy XIV will be crossing over with Nier Automata. Yes, Nier Automata content is headed to Final Fantasy XIV. It was noted that the Nier Automata content will come in the form of a new 24-player alliance raid, which will be a part of the series of the FF14 Nier crossover raids entitled Yorha Dark Apocalypse. We don't have any gameplay footage of this update exactly. However, that does sound exceedingly exciting. Here's the full rundown of everything being included in FF14 Patch 5.1. Patch 5.1 introduces the next chapter in the exhilarating Shadowbringers main storyline, so more story content, new 24-player alliance raid, the Copied Factory, guest creators Yosuke Saito and Yoko Taro bring together Final Fantasy and Nier in the Yorha Dark Apocalypse Alliance raid series, restoration of the Holy See of Ishgard. This crafter and gather focus content encourages players to work together to build the firmament in Ishgard. The new content is accompanied by extensive system adjustments and updates for crafting and gathering classes. New Game Plus is included, replay previously completed quests while retaining one's current progression and job level. New dungeon in the Grand Cosmos, players can tackle this new dungeon alongside fellow adventurers or a party of non-playable characters as well using the trust system. New Extreme Trial, players will be able to challenge a new extreme difficulty trial. New Beast Tribe quest, the Pixies. PvP updates, substantial changes will be made to PvP actions alongside the introduction of a new frontline map and rule set. Blue Mage job update, the first major update to this limited job will feature an increased level cap, new job quests, as well as a new Blue Mage specific battle changes and content. And you've got performance action updates. The addition of an ensemble feature will allow groups of players to create music together. Lastly, it was noted that patch 5.1 will also feature job adjustments, gold saucer updates, system updates, and much more. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers is available right now in its base form. There's a couple updates already released prior to Shadowbringers in Heaven's Ward as well as Stormblood. Shadowbringers is available on PlayStation 4 at the price of $40. This is, of course, a pay-to-play MMO, but given all of the content that they offer on a monthly basis and how consistently they keep the game updated, this is one of those games that I do think really warrant its pay-to-play aspect, and you can get into the game for your initial playtime, so you can at least try the game out, see how you like it, but there is a lot to like. Although some of the best content you do have to invest a considerable amount of time into before you get to that content, so be mindful of that, but overall the experience is really, really great. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, Unworthy Life is a brand new dystopian sci-fi action RPG that has a ton of potential. Excited to see how that game turns out. Again, the Indiegogo campaign is alive right now. They are touting that the game is 80% finished, and they're aiming for a September 2020 release window. Let's hope that that ends up sticking. And Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, again, it is the top-rated game of 2019 thus far. Think about how insane that is given where the game was at, 6 or 7 years ago. For Square Enix to take the experience to what it was back then, to bring it to where it is now, where it is one of the top games in the entire PlayStation 4 library and just gaming in general, that is pretty remarkable, and it's getting its first big free update, and that is including a Nier Automata crossover raid and a bunch of other content. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.